Hello there guys, welcome to another Bowling for Smurfs video. I would be making this video on like Fortnite or Warzone, but my dilemma is that the PlayStation servers are shut down right now. They're being serviced or something, but I can't log in to my uh, PlayStation account. So I don't really know what else to do. So I decided to log on to this game because the new season of hockey hasn't dropped yet. The new game is dropping in 3 days. I've never downloaded this game, so I don't know if the players on the field are the correct roster right now. So anybody who's saying not using an updated roster, again, this is a CPU versus CPU battle on Superstar and Expert. I'm just gonna let the computers play it out while I talk about my Xbox theory. Now, why am I not doing the video on my Xbox Series S? Well, because it's a 500 gigabyte console and I have Warzone on it. That's literally it. So we're just gonna let the computers play while I talk about my little Xbox theory. As you can see, it's the Red Wings and the Boston Brewers. I think I might have got my teams wrong, but my theory is within the next console generation, PS6, Xbox, whatever, Nintendo Switch 2, and all these other consoles that are possibly going to come out. I think Xbox isn't going to make another console. See, last year, I believe it was either 2022 or 2023, they signed a 10-year contract with Nintendo. And nobody really knows what that contract was about. But I have a weird superstition theory. I think what's going to happen is they're going to put Game Pass on that Nintendo Switch 2. I think the whole point of the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be to run Warzone. And because let's be real, the Nintendo Switch, as much as it sucks, is equal to a PS4 and an Xbox Series 1. Xbox One? That's what it's called. So, my whole point is like those consoles run a little bit better than the Switch, but the Switch lets you play Fortnite on the go. The Switch lets you play Borderlands on the go. Sometimes you can find AAA games cheaper than, like, Hogwarts Legacy. It's not that bad of a port. Or, for example, you get The Witcher. Not that bad of a port for the console you're getting. So, I think what the big contract is Microsoft, Phil Spencer, is going to say, since we have signed a contract to partner with you, we are going to give you access to Game Pass, and you need to make your console be able to run Warzone. If your console can at least run Warzone, then it can run all the other games on Game Pass. Such as, it's going to need to run. It's going to be ironic if my theory is right. My little prediction is right. Because if Game Pass comes to Nintendo, that means Pal World is on Nintendo. That would be really hilarious. I'm sorry. But that's my theory. I think what's going to happen is they're going to partner with Nintendo and they're going to bring Game Pass to the Nintendo Switch 2. And at their next Xbox showcase, they're going to tell you they didn't make another console. I think they're going to tell you, like, get into PC gaming, buy this Xbox Series X that is still up to date, or maybe what they'll do is they'll update it and it'll be called, like, the Xbox Series X Pro, and it will be at least maybe a year out of date. Like the PS5 Pro, $799. Get the heck out of here. Here, for a console that's out of date by 2 years, according to a PC techie. Like, I might as well just buy the parts and assemble my own PC, or I think you could get a good pre-built off. I don't know what they're called, but they're the people who compete with Intel. Oh, I'm stuttering. But you can get a pre-built, like, block off them for $899.99 and a monitor for like $199.99. So again, there's no point if you're gonna save up and buy a PS5 Pro, you might as well just build a PC. Even I thought that was ridiculous. All they did, by the way, before I go back to my Microsoft thing, is all they did now is they know they ain't gonna sell a million of those PS5 Pros, but they know their sales and all the old consoles are gonna go up because people are gonna look at those old consoles at Walmart for like $449.99, the fat ones, and be like, "Oh look, it's just as good as the Pro," which it's not. But there is, if you're buying this console for your kid or somebody who has a PS4 that's gonna die, there is just no reason to buy anyone a Pro. If you're gonna buy someone a Pro, you might as well look. If you're gonna buy little Timmy a PS5 for $500, you should then ask his grandparents, will you give me another $500 so I can just build him a PC? It would be way more convenient, but you don't want to give little Timmy a PC because kids destroy video games. Trust me, I know I did it. I'm an idiot. Do you understand that I owned a copy of Gale of Darkness as a kid and I sold it to buy Spyro? It wasn't Spyro, it was actually Wrath of Cortex Crash Bandicoot. That's just a stupid purchase. Do you know how much a copy of Gale of Darkness is? Go look on eBay or Amazon. By the way, I'm talking about a Pokemon game nobody knows about. But you will love it if you have the money for it. You just have to buy at least a Wii with a compatibility. And then you have to buy Gale of Darkness. You're looking at like a 300. You're looking at a week's check, even if you make 14 an hour at 32 hours. Like it's gonna cost you a pretty penny. The Wii alone is gonna cost you $100, and the game is gonna cost you 159. But again, don't buy little Timmy a PC or a PS5 Pro. There's no reason for it. But back to my Xbox theory. I just don't see them making another console. I see them upgrading their console. I just don't see them making a new console. I think what they're going to do is they're going to go into pre-built PCs. And honestly, man, as long as y'all don't put them in Walmart, people will probably be interested. And if you treat the pre-built PCs just like you did with the 360 and the Xbox One, if it breaks, we'll take care of it. If you bring it, you ship it back to our company. I truly think y'all will have no problem convincing people to sell these pre-built PCs. But I just don't want you guys to stop making consoles because not everybody can afford a pre-built PC. It's really hard to save. Like, seriously, I'm going to be real with you. I was making 13 an hour at a hotel and I was making 16 an hour at a stocking job. And even then, it was still hard for me with 16 an hour at 40 hours with all my bills, with gas prices. It was still really hard for me and I don't know if this is an upgrade or a downgrade, but I went from a PS4 to an Xbox Series S because, not because I'm a traitor, Benedict Arnold, because I really, really wanted to play Jedi Survivor last year. And if you went to my local Target, I don't know if Target was doing this all over the nation, I just know that ours was doing this. If you bought a new console, you could get a brand new game for $35. And $2.99 and a $35 game for $3.25 out the door. So I chose Jedi Survivor and I played it and I loved it and I enjoyed it and I wanted 100% in it, but I sold it to my buddy. Then I literally sold my PlayStation, got a job stocking the next week, and then took that paycheck. I basically went out without video games for 2 weeks, other than with my Nintendo Switch. And then I took and bought a PS5, and I bought a fat one, and I bought a cover and I bought. That's it. That's what I did. I even went to Walmart and bought it in my car, like. And it took a while. And I was making 16 an hour, and I was making 14 an hour. Nope, 13 an hour. Sorry. And it still took me a long time to save up for that. So people really don't have. I know it's not that we don't have the money. It's that we don't have the time to save up that much money when we have more important things to do as like blue collar and poor people. Like if you're blue collar or less, we just, we don't make that much money. So I would love to see Microsoft do, since they did it once, is this would be a little weird for me to say, but take a page out of Nintendo's book. If you're trying to save money, Nintendo hasn't switched from cartridges in other than with the Wii U and the Wii, and that was because, well, and the GameCube, sorry, those three consoles, because everybody was like, cartridges are just out of date, and they tried to save money as best they could, and they couldn't. And then finally we gave them an excuse to go back to cartridges, because a lot of people liked the concept of the Wii U, but they honestly just threw their Wii U's out for a Nintendo DS. So they just thought, okay, let's upgrade the DS. What do we do? And they made the switch. Cartridges are a great way to save money when you have to mass produce physical games. People, I know this sounds stupid when I say it, but there is a big community out there of, at least, I'm gonna say 50 million people in America that still like physical media copy, because a lot of us are probably scared that the power is going to go out for a couple months for some stupid reason. And if you're someone like me who has an electric generator, I can just plug my system in. But if there's no power in my city, I don't have any internet. And if I don't have any internet, then how am I going to play video games, even if I'm running off a generator like I'm Negan in The Walking Dead with my girlfriend? Which, by the way, that is why I bought a generator. He gave me a good idea. I was like, yeah, if I just keep finding gas, yeah. Oh, I actually have to click remain? Okay. Could continue, please. It's a good game, though. No, I'm actually sitting here watching it myself. My dad used to love hockey, by the way, Lofum. I mean, he was so good at it. Uh, he would rollerblade hockey in the summer, and then in the winter he would ice skate. But he never played high school hockey, because he used to say that he thought, if I have to like make it my daily life, I'm truly not gonna like it anymore. I just play for fun, not for competition. But I just think if Sony, since they've made a portable, not Sony, I'm a dumb bow, I'm sorry. I think Microsoft should take a page out of Nintendo's book. They already made that little Asus thing, handheld console. It's probably the wrong name I said. But they made that handheld portable console, and people actually, I'm told, like it. Um, which is weird. But then Steam Deck did the same thing and made theirs, and everyone was just trying to make a weird off-brand Switch at the time. And I think Microsoft was onto something. I don't think their next console should be a console. I think they should make a stupid off-brand Nintendo Switch 2. But wait, why would they do that when they just partnered with Nintendo? I think I have this weird theory on the same theory. I think if Nintendo becomes the console for Microsoft, they will make cartridge versions of Microsoft. Could you imagine a Halo 2 on a Switch cartridge? That would just be insane, right? But if I'm going to partner with you and put Game Pass on games, then I want something out of it too. Nintendo is obsessed with physical media. They put more money in those cartridges than they do actual games, because they think physical media is how you imprint your legacy. And it, again, I've always, I think because I watched Walking Dead too young as a kid when it came out in 2012. I was 14, and yeah, TV-14, but I think it paranoid me. See, I believe this is, I'm going into personnel now, that one day there will be Walking Dead, but without zombies, or maybe The Last of Us is right and we will have zombies. I don't know. But either way, I believe the power grid's going to go out one day. It could be from Peter Griffin driving it into the car into the power grid, and blaming it on Meg, or it could be government warfare, or it could be World War III, or Civil War, or whatever. There's too many scenarios to pinpoint what could boom our society. But I'd look at Peter Griffin more. Peter Griffin driving the car to the power grid and then going months without power in our city because a fat ass didn't fucking think drinking and driving is wrong. Yeah, that's gonna piss me off. Good thing I have a gas powered generator, Raider, and and the gas station has an emergency power generator too. Yeah. So now again, no power, no internet. How do you download shit? You don't. You take the disc and you put it in. Take the cartridge and you put it in. So I think Microsoft's partnership is going to be beneficial for them with Nintendo. Because if Game Pass just gets on there and everything works right, Nintendo's gonna be like, would you ever think, we're not gonna make another console? If they don't make another console and they just go into PC gaming, then they have to now make either PC versions of games or Nintendo versions of games. They might as well just do Nintendo versions of the game because it's cheaper to build cartridges than disc. And I think that's why Nintendo is going to be, or not Nintendo, Microsoft is going to be a streaming service only, and for all the old people who want disc and physical media, they'll just leave that to Nintendo's end. I am noticing that Phil Spencer and Microsoft really want to leave like the old ways behind. They don't want to make consoles and video games or consoles and physical games no more. They want everybody to own a PC and have Game Pass so that they can make more money and charge you the same price by cutting the cost of the middleman, which is the guy who makes the physical media. Yeah, which is the disc and cartridges, the disc and cartridge manufacturers. But think about this. We've all been saying this as gamers. Digital store-bought games should be cheaper because they are. If there's no physical copy of a game out there, right? Then the game should be cheaper digitally because it was you made it on your computer with your equipment and then uploaded it. Like, for example, let's say I made a video game for 2 years and I put 100 grand into it. Then I don't feel wrong selling that game for $30 as long as 100,000 people buy it. I made 300 grand. I don't need to charge $75 if I was in my room for 2 years going to college. My side hobby was making this video game. But that's what they do with developers. They make these developers make their games digital only, put it through a streaming service, don't make any physical copies, charge you $75 for it, and then and then it's even worse if you do buy Game Pass Ultimate. $20 a month. And yeah, you can go buy physical cards at Walmart that give you better deals. But it's still like, come on, dude. That's just a lot for... Like, here's my dilemma. I play on PS5 and Xbox, right? Alright, I want Black Ops 6 this year. Do I spend $75 on the game on my PS5 because I'm going to end up playing the game for probably a year or two because it's a Treyarch game, maybe even 3. I played Black Ops 3 all until World War II, which at that point, yeah, I played Black Ops 3 all up until Black Ops 4, and I played Black Ops 2 all up until Black Ops 3. I did have Ghost, but I'm a Treyarch fanboy, but I still criticize Treyarch for what they do. Black Ops 4 was a end of an era and transitioning into a new era. Black Ops 3 was we have to add the jetpack, and Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 1 were the GOATs. goats, and World War One was the start of a great era. So yeah, I just can't, Treyarch. I don't care what anybody says. Treyarch is the better development studio, and I think Blackout, for some reason, like, if you would have gave Treyarch a chance to develop Warzone after what they did with Blackout, I think we would have got the same game mode, but with better development technology. I think we would have got that anti-cheat by now. I think we would have got way better weapon balancing. I think everything you want from Warzone is going to be in Black Ops 6, and it's worth it. So let's say I get that deal at Microsoft, right? I end up paying $100 a year for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate just to play Black Ops 6 when I could buy the game for $75 and I can play it for three years, until the next Treyarch game comes out. But that's my point. Xbox Game Pass is based off convenience and hype. It just doesn't seem like they're doing what Ubisoft is doing. They don't want you to own video games no more. They want you to rent video games monthly. And that's just absurd. If I buy I'm part of the problem, everyone. I buy digital games too. But I'm just kind of done after this era. Like, I've I have 300 PS2 games. I do. I have 150 on me, like 140 and 50 on me right now. And on my list of PS1 and PS2 games I want to collect from my console, I still have another 130, 50 to go. Somewhere in that area. So I'm just rounding up, but I basically almost am going to have a collection of 300 PS1 and PS2 games with a silver PS2 from my childhood that I take to the repair shop every 6 months because I don't want it to die because it's too important. And then when I see other ones, I buy them, I take them. The PS2 to me is a console that I can replay games over and over again. Again, if this era of gaming is annoying me, I have a PS2. If I look at my games today and say, "Oh man, there's just really nothing to play," and like Skywalker Saga is even getting boring because there's just nothing for me to play. I will literally plug in my PS2 and I'll be like, man, I'm just having fun with this Lord of the Rings Two Towers. I've beat it 5 times, but I'm still having fun. Or, yeah, nothing wrong with my copy of Battlefront 2, but on my PS5, it's complete and utter crap. Complete and utter crap. I mean, I know they've updated it, but still complete and utter crap. I'm just saying, like, Ubisoft and Microsoft, both are soft, uh, trying to appeal to they're both soft trying to appeal to a small demographic of people in our society that isn't the majority of your consumer, and then you wonder why you're not selling a bunch of games. Like, sorry to be such an evil man, but as a bisexual Christian who is very moderate in society, the it's bad business to apply to the 2%, to make all your games based off 2% when 60% of your demographic is this, another 30% of your graphic is this, and then 3% of your demographic is this, and then the other 7% of your demographic is literally unknown people who are now just getting into video games. So they don't want you to own video games no more because they think either video games aren't worth it no more and they just don't know how to make money. They don't want to go work at like some 9 to 5 job, that doesn't make them millions, which I understand who does. Or they see that they can profit their wallets more by not making, like, I'm thinking like this. Let's say you put 100 million into a game, right? Like, let's say I say, hey, Treyarch, I'll give you not even 100 million. Let's just say $5 million to make to reboot the Medal of Honor series because I own the rights. This is all one big hypothetical, okay? They're gonna tell me, well, hey man, we can cut cost and put more into developing the game by $250,000, and these all numbers are all hypothetical, of course. By the way, I'm just giving examples by not making disc versions of the game. Oh yeah, it's a great idea. Do you really need that money though? No. And then like they save 100 grand and they split it between as a signing bonus or something or an extra bonus. Like they're just trying to either they're either doing one of two things by cutting out disc and physical media. They're either trying to fill their own pockets by being greedy as fuck, or they're trying to put the extra money into the game because they just don't want to put more money into a video game they don't believe is going to succeed because even they know they're appealing to a small demographic of people. I know you all think I'm just sitting over here sucking Sony's dick, but now that I'm kind of done with my Xbox rant, I will get into what I think the problem with Sony is. They're doing the same thing. They're about to get left in the dust because everybody is going to move into PC gaming, and PlayStation's already done that and failed. They have their own PlayStation Store for PC. Doesn't work. They had to partner with Steam because it sucked. Their PlayStation Portal was a disaster. I know people defend it, and yeah, it is a good idea. But why would you buy that when you can buy a Backbone and play on your phone? And most people either own an iPhone or a Galaxy, a Samsung, and they're fucking great phones. And even if you don't, I own a Moto G Stylus 2024, and before that I had a Samsung Galaxy Note 2 from the year 2015. And the remote app was working great on an outdated phone and working great on my current phone I bought from Walmart. So even if you don't have a top of the line phone, as long as it's from like 2021 and up, you're probably going to be able to play remote play on your phone. I mean, a lot of people do it with their Xboxes too. So I just think if you're someone like me who thinks streaming video games, just renting video games is kind of an absurd idea. I don't think renting video games is an absurd idea when you're a content creator. Like, I want to make a walkthrough on Infamous, and my options are PlayStation Extra, or Premium, whichever one it is, or buy a PS3 for $100 and buy the game for $20. Let me think about that. I just want to walk through the game and say I played it on hard. Oh, Extra. There are some games out there that I like to revisit, and I honestly own an Xbox 360 still, and I have like Saints Row 1 and 2 on there. I have Fallout 3 and New Vegas. There's just games that, with catalogs, let me explain this to you as a early Gen Z. I was born in 1998. Catalogs change. Back then, when you got a catalog, they would change what you could buy in it based off the seasons. Alright, like fashion catalogs go seasonal, food catalogs go based off, what's good and, the times. So I think that's what they're going to do with these Xbox Game Passes and shit. They're going to just rotate through the catalogs of games, and you're never going to notice. They're always going to say they're new games, but for example, they'll take like, I don't know, they'll take like Saints Row 3 away, and then like 9 months later they'll bring it back to the catalog and say it's a new game, one of the new 20 games. It's just stupid. You should just be able to buy a game physically, and if it's digitally, you should sell it. I think I think these corporations would make more money if they just sold the games digitally cheaper. Because there's a lot of people out there that don't care about having physical media. If you want a disc version of NHL 24, it should be $45 pre-owned at GameStop or 69.99 new. But if you want it brand new digitally, then it should be $35.99. It shouldn't be 79. It shouldn't be 69.99. I'm just saying that corporations just don't understand this because they're so blinded by their greed. You'd make more money if you sold disc at 69.99 and digital games for half the price. Because digital games take half the work, but you guys think you should still be rewarded with a full price. That's that's illogical. If I do half the work, I get half the reward. If I do the full work, I get full reward. All I'm saying is be prepared for Xbox and maybe even Sony and maybe even like maybe not Sony so much, but be prepared to see Xbox and Sony all to say they're not going to be making a new console because everybody would much prefer to be on a PC and stream everything. And that's just not true. There are a lot of people out there that like to collect physical media. So I don't know, but I think by time, look, I'm 26 this year, 2024, and I believe in the next 4 years, by time I'm the age 30, I'm predicting this right now. Profit, my brain needs to be studied. No, I'm just kidding. Xbox will announce that they aren't making a new console and they are letting Nintendo take over their consoles so that they can focus on PC gaming, streaming, and PC towers. I'm telling you, by the time I'm the age of 30 or 35, within the next 4 to 9 years, I'm telling you, they won't make another console. They will make PC towers, and they will let Nintendo take over. And what Nintendo's going to do is they're just going to keep making Nintendo Switch 3, Nintendo Switch 4, Nintendo Switch 5, and you're just going to have an Xbox library and Game Pass on it. I think Nintendo is going to make a big comeback, and I think the reason Sony is so focused on their movies, because it's been proven that they're putting more money into their movies than in their games, is because they really want a partnership with Disney so that when their video game era dies, they have all that Disney Marvel movie. Because they still own Venom. They still own Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, which means that anything that's labeled the Amazing Spider-Man, Sony owns. And I think they own Carnage. So anything with symbiotes or the Amazing Spider-Man, Sony owns that. So and they have the games. Like honestly, they probably could just partner with Steam and release all the games on PC. So I think that's what Sony's doing, in my opinion, too, is before I end this video, is that Sony knows the video game, this console. I think these companies know this this console generation is ending. The console wars are ending. And we're going into PC streaming wars. And I think what Sony's just going to do is they're going to partner with Disney on the movie side, and they're going to partner with Steam on the game side, and then you'll have Microsoft working on PC shit, and they're going to partner with Nintendo as a console, and then they're going to partner with, and then do their own thing with Game Pass. Like, I'm telling you, within the next 4 to 9 years, there's not going to be a PS7, an Xbox, whatever you want to call it, and there's only going to be the Nintendo console, which is partnered with Microsoft. I stuttered on that. And I think that's why Sony, like for example, Sony put, what was it, 50 million, 100 million, not even into Concord. I think it was like 50 million they said. But they put like 150 million into the last Venom movie. And they're all saying, oh, that's because movies are, they cost more than video games. Not really. Not really. The equipment the only reason movies cost more because actors require more money. That's why. Like, I'm not going to be in the Venom movie unless you give me $10 million. Well, then I can't use a $50 million budget. Whereas a gamer is like, I'm not going to make the game unless you give me, $75 grand. That's just the difference. Actors require more money for some stupid reason. But I have idled in this screen long enough and I have ranted long enough. Your boy Bowling for Smurfs is out. Peace be with you.